most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
We are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
This video is a part of a series of videos on plantar fasciitis. If you'd like to see the entire series, go to bobandbrad.com, go to the program section, and look for plantar fasciitis.
Sure.
So this one's called, Will a Night Splint Help My Plantar Fasciitis? Now, the purpose of a night splint is it's going to apply a stretch all night long so that the plantar fascia gets healed in a lengthened position. And
which is the same as when you're up and standing.
Which is the same as when you're up and standing. And quite often what you'll find out with plantar fasciitis is that, it feels good when you wake up in the morning, then you take a couple of steps and it re-tears. And all of a sudden you have that really sharp pain.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is prevent that by stretching all night long. This worked really well for my wife. This is what put her over the edge. But I would recommend that you first try our first 4 or 5 videos and see if that helps you. Maybe you aren't going to need a splint.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an option.
It's an option. So you're going to try the stretches and massage first. The problem with splints, they can be bulky. They can have a poor fit. They can be uncomfortable, and it can take a while to get accustomed to them.
Sure.
It can get to the point where it may even affect the way you sleep. And believe me, you need your sleep in order to heal.
Right.
So that's the negative part of it. If you're making improvement, hold off. Some people when they have a stretch on their foot all night long, the foot gets numb. So that's not good either.
Right.
So
they may have it adjusted too tight, possibly too much stretch. Are we going to get into that, Bob?
Yeah. We'll talk about that, but we're going to talk about 4 different options basically I have here. The first one is an anterior night splint. That means a splint that fits on the top of the foot more.
Yeah. Maybe should we say more clearly what the splint is doing?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So that we clarify the stretch. So if I'm laying in bed all night long and my foot is like this, which everyone sleeps with their foot, we call it plantar flex. That plantar fascia is going to start to heal in a shortened position. And when you stand up and put weight on it, stretch and it tears like Bob was talking about.
Yeah,
so if we maintain the foot in this position all night long, it'll heal in the same position as when you stand on it, eliminating that painful tear.
And it even goes up into the big toe.
Yep.
So that's why you'll see some of these, we like it when they actually stretch the toe a little bit too. But again, it's got to be tolerable. You can't put up with it if it hurts all night long.
Right.
You won't be able to sleep and you'll be throwing this thing away.
Right.
So very good that we took time to do that. These anterior splints, what I found out with them is they do well in holding the arch up, but they don't really pull on the toe at all, at all. But they did research and they found out that these kind of beat out the posterior ones to some extent. I have one here by Vantery, Vatery. I'm absolutely not recommending it, not by any means. This is only part of it. It fell apart on me. The little, what would you call it, buckle fell off.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's hard to put on.
It's hard to put on. It was awful.
Yeah. So anterior means the splint is on the front of the foot, and there is nothing on the back or the side of the foot in regards to an actual splint. And you'll see the difference when we show the posterior.
The nice thing about an anterior one is they usually tend to be a little bit less bulky.
Yep.
God, my wife had one that was just really a nice one. I would have recommended it all day long, and they no longer sell it. I mean, it was not bulky. It worked well,
Yep.
and so.
And the other thing is when you get up at night, if you have to go to the restroom or something,
right,
your foot, you can walk on it.
Right.
Where this,
I mean, it's made you can walk on these, but they're a little.
It's sometimes it's if you're half awake and all of a sudden you forget you had it on, it could pose a risk for a fall.
Herman Munster. So this is a posterior splint, and like Brad is saying, the problem with it, it's bulky. Imagine this in bed with you, under the sheets. Again, it does work. I like the fact that you can really adjust how much tension you have.
So I can push it down here. Yep. Or as it gets better, you continually pull it up a little bit, a little bit at a time. Now, this would be too much. I feel an aggressive stretch, but I'm just demonstrating.
Now, you can also, a lot of them come with a little wedge here, so you get a little stretch on the toe, too, on the toes. So, yeah. positionally, I like this so much better.
Hmm.
It's just not comfort wise
Right.
that they're not good. The problem is, I look at the reviews, they all have kind of poor reviews. I
Hmm.
haven't found any anterior or posterior splint that has decent reviews.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bugger.
I've got a patient right now who's had it for a long time, and he says, yeah, they help, but he doesn't wear it every night. He says maybe
Sure.
3 nights a week, and he says it does help when I get off, but it's a little awkward in bed with sleeping. And so, again, it's something that you really should use consistently, day after day after day. And then if you go 1 or 2 weeks and you're not getting good results, then you can assume it's
The
not going
other
to
thing
help.
you can try is a plantar fascia night sock. Now, the problem with
Ah,
these is people have been having trouble with the fit, but they sound like the perfect thing, don't they, Brad? Because it's
yeah,
a sock and it has a little strap that pulls up and attaches to usually just a little bit of a collar right up here.
yeah.
And the problem is people really have trouble with the fit on those. But if you can get the fit right, I would probably lean towards those
So
because
that's just a regular sock.
yep, and it's got a strap attached to the sock,
Yeah,
and it pulls up to like they just have a strap that goes up here and they attach it to it.
right.
You'll look it up on Amazon. We'll have a link
What's it
below.
called again?
A plantar
Sock.
fasciitis night sock.
Okay.
So the final thing, which Brad and I aren't so sure about ideally what it's doing, is a compression sock, and you got one on, Brad. You want
Oh,
to show
right
them?
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they got these plantar fasciitis compression socks. They got great reviews. I mean, they got thousands of reviews and they're in the 4.5 range. So, you might want to check them out. They definitely feel like they hold your arch a bit, right, Brad?
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, they're tight to get on. You don't slip them on. You got to work at it a little bit, but it feels good. It's going to eliminate if you have any swelling problems. Going to at least help that, and
Right.
it's supporting the plantar fascia for sure. But it's got good reviews,
Yeah.
and we have not had patients that have worn it and said,
Right. We
yeah,
haven't
they
had
really
anybody.
help.
Right.
But that's not saying we're behind the times. I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Bob.
We'll find out. Maybe you guys can let us know in comments below
Sure.
whether or not it helps you. So thanks everybody for watching. Again, check out the full series at bobandbrad.com.